Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanditangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ten. 37? Okay, chapter 10, text 37. Read the Sanskrit together and then the English together. Translate. Vishninam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaha Muninam Apyaham Vyasa Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Translation. Of the descendants of Vrishni,
I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas I am Arjuna. Of the sages I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers I am Ushana.
38. Dandho Damayatam Asmi Nitir Asmi Jigishatam Maunam Chaivasmi Guhyanam Jnanam Jnanavatamaham. Among punishments, I am the rod
of chastisement, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am wisdom.
39. Yachchapi Sarvabhutanam Bijam Taraham Arjuna Atarasti Vinayatsyan Maya Bhutam Characharam. Translation. Furthermore, O Arjuna,
I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being moving or unmoving that can exist without me.
Nantosti Mamaduvyanam Vibhutinam Parantapa Eshatu Deshata Prokto Vibhuter Vistaro Maya. Translation. O mighty conqueror of enemies,
there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences.
41. Yadyati bhutimat sattam Srimad urjitam evava Tatad eva avagachyatvam Mamate jom shasambhavam. Translation. Know that all beautiful,
glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
42. Atava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna Ishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena stito jagat. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna?
For all this detailed knowledge, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
text 11, or chapter 11, universal form, text 1. Arjuna Vaja Madanugrahaya Paramam Guyamajadma Sangitam Yatak Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mama. Translation. Arjuna said,
I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now dispelled.
2. Bhavapyayo Hiputanam Shruto Vishtarasho Maya Tatakamala Patraksha Mahatmyam Apichavyayam. Translation. O Lotus-eyed One,
I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, as realized through your inexhaustible glories.
3. Evam etajitata tvamatmanam parameshvaram trashtum ichcha rupam aishvaram purushottama. Translation. O greatest of all personalities,
O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours.
4. Manase yari tachchakyam ayadrashtumiti prapo yogeshvara tato metvam darsharatmanam avyam. Translation. If you think that I am able
to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self.
And finally, 5. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Pashyame Partha Rupani Shatashota Sahasrashaha Nana Vitani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha. Translation. The Blessed Lord said,
My dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea.
Coming back. 37. So I'll read the translation and purport. 37.
Of the descendants of Vishnu, I am Vasudeva. And of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa. And among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Purport. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Vasudeva is the immediate expansion of Krishna. Both Lord Krishna and Baladev appear as the sons of Vasudeva. Amongst the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous and valiant. Indeed, he is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis, or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyasa is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali.
That's the answer to the question for today. We're searching out why Vyasadeva appears to be an illusion. He's not actually an illusion. He's participating in the Lord's transcendental pastimes. And he's taken the service of presenting these different aspects of philosophy for all the common people. There are people that want to be interested in dharma, religiosity, and they want artha, economic development, and they want kama, sense gratification, and they want mukti, personal liberation. So this is leading them towards that. That's the system. Purushartha. These 4 goals of life. But actually the real goal is Prema Pamartha Mahan, to become a lover of Krishna. That is the real goal. But just like in a pharmacy, they have all types of medicine. Some very strong medicine requires you have to have what do you call it? You have to get a doctor's prescription yet. Then you can get that. You can't just get it. So, but then they have some that are very light. You can just take those. So some people are very strongly embedded in the material world. They want to try to enjoy these things. So the Vedas give them that. They don't say it's the ultimate. They say this is, if you want, you can get this from the Vedic system of being pious, dharma, by performing different pious activities, opening dharmshalas, giving water to the travelers, planting trees, giving in charity, going to holy places, performing austerity, chanting slokas, bowing down. These are all good activities. But in their mood is they want sense gratification. They want to enjoy this material world, and then at the end they'll merge and become. So that's not exactly right. They don't have it completely clear. But it's a beginning. They're going in the right direction. And just as when they reach the stage of they're coming in contact with rishis, and the rishis are telling them, yes, you have to give up this world. It's not the real world. The real world is Brahman, spiritual. You need to go there. So then they develop a desire to go there and get free from stress. But if they come in contact with a devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord, then they can skip all that. There's no need for it. We hear the prayers of Bilmangal Thakur and different devotees, how they're no longer interested in the path of fruit of work, the karmis and the gyanis, the yogis, getting mystic powers or speculating on merging with one. That's for people that are on the lower level. So how is it then that the Western and the people all over the world now are taking to Krishna consciousness? Are they on the slow path? No, they're on the fast track, because Bhakti Yoga, Bhaktyama Bhamicharati Yavanyasasmi Tatata. Krishna says it's the only way I can be understood. And in the Bhagavad Gita, we learn Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tatpata Chakpadeham Panar Janma Naiti Mameti Swarjuna. Krishna says that if they learn about the transcendental appearance and activities of Krishna, if they understand that, then when they give up this body, they don't have to come back again to the material world. They go to the spiritual world. And that means Krishna consciousness. That means to know Krishna's activities and his birth. As we hear, Krishna is born from Devaki. He goes into the womb of Devaki. And he goes from the womb of Vasudeva, his father. Well, what does he have to, he's not, how can God have a mother and father? How can he be the original? This is his pastime. This is his enjoyment. He likes to come and associate with his devotees, and they act out the parts like he's their mother. And he acts like he needs their their help. Like he couldn't get across the Yamuna without the help of Vasudeva. Actually, Ananta Shesh came, who's the servant, another expansion of Vishnu, Krishna, coming to take it. So this is part of the. Someone may say this is not real. Then, if he's not really a child, then why is he playing like a child? Why does he do the real thing? What's his real life? Not just real life too. The spiritual world is his real life, and the Lord exists everywhere. He can exist in any type of circumstance, and he's always not covered. He's not affected by the modes of material nature. He's above the modes. He's always transcendental. Achyuta, he never falls down. He never does anything sinful. It's always transcendently pure. And he enjoys traveling around from universe to universe, even the material world. He comes to the material world not to enjoy matter, but to encourage his devotees to give it up and come back. And many of them, they assemble, they know his tour, his route. And it's like here you stay on this planet for 125 years by our calculation. But by the calculation of the demigods, it's not a very long time. Because you have 6 months. So, you have to, there one day, the demigods one day on the heavenly planets equals our 6 months, and one night equals our 6 months of night. So 360, if you divide 125 by 360, about 8 hours, something like that. So that's like a short stopover. A drama troupe, they go around on their tour, they spend 8 hours in a town, they make their performance and everyone's enlivened. They go on to their next performance. Krishna's doing this, and there are many devotees who have been serving very faithfully, and now they get the opportunity to go and be with him as he travels around on his tour. And they enjoy the different pastimes with him. And then they go back to the Vaikuntha for their permanent residence. So Krishna, everything he does is blissful, anandamaya vyasat. And if the devotees, for the living entities who want to serve with him, assist him, everything is blissful for them also. Everything is increasingly blissful. Thank you.
Text 38, translation. Among punishments I am the Lord, I am the rod of chastisement, and of those who seek victory I am morality. Of secret things I am silence, and of the wise I am wisdom. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down the miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the rod of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important, because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself. if anyone has any comments, they can speak on this. The most victorious element is morality. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Well, in the Vedic paradigm, we were reading about morality. There's a chapter called Morality, and it gives a list of different moral principles from different, like Chanakya Pandit, and Bengali proverbs. And so, do you remember any good ones? Let's see if I can remember. There's one. There was one about the moon and stars. There was one that said that basically to the extent of like whatever can be achieved by so many stars, so many twinkling stars can be achieved by one moon, and we hear this as well, that whatever is achieved by small wells is automatically achieved by the ocean. So there's a few different ways that proverb is applicable. In one sense, it's applicable in the sense like we were hearing with Rochan Dev on Tuesday's Bhagavatam class. That I think this is Rochan Dev Prabhu's class, where he said, when there is or it might have been Krishna Shravana Prabhu's class, I don't remember. But anyways, when there's a transcendental person present on earth, transcendental personality, then everything is nice, so to speak. Everything is taken care of. Because such a soul is very, very rare. Samahama Sudurlabhaha. That the soul who is surrendered unto Krishna, who is situated in real knowledge, is such a rare individual. But he's the most qualified individual. So just by his presence, everything is auspicious. He's all auspicious. Devotional service is all auspicious, so the devotee is all auspicious. And the devotee is very merciful. So, because he's very auspicious, he's also called Patita Pavana, which basically means that the pure devotee, he's so transcendental and auspicious that he's here in this material world, and he's coming in contact with so many personalities, so many fallen conditioned souls, and he's giving them their association, and so he's saving so many people who are in the most dangerous condition of life. Dangerous for themselves and dangerous for those around them, because they're deeply enmeshed in the modes of ignorance. And in this condition, committing so many abominable sinful activities, acting out of lust and anger, kama esha, koda esha, rajaguna samudbhavaha, mahashano mahapatma vidyanam ihavayanam. That this anger and this lust is the all-devouring sinful enemy. And one who's impelled by the modes of nature, rajaguna, tamagun, they're acting from lust and anger, and so they're committing so many sinful activities, hurting other living entities severely, ultimately hurting themselves. They're sending themselves deeper and deeper down into these modes and different bodies, lower and lower bodies. But the pure devotee, who's like the moon, he's very merciful, and the moon is pleasing to all living entities. So similarly, the pure devotee is pleasing to all living entities because he's free from that lust and that anger, and he's not conditioned by passion and ignorance or goodness even. He's transcendental. And so from that platform, he is Patita Pavana. He's able to save the fallen conditioned souls. So, so that was one of the proverbs that we heard about the moon being superior to the little stars. No, we thought of one.
Yeah, this one was good. I think I asked a question surrounding it, but it's actually pretty straightforward. It's a father becomes an enemy when he dies in debt. A mother becomes an enemy when she marries twice. A wife becomes an enemy when she's very beautiful, and a son becomes an enemy when he's a foolish rascal. I think my question was surrounding the mother who marries twice, and I just came to find out that that's kind of not really so much accepted in Vedic culture. I'm not sure if we got a reason why. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it was about if she has kids, then she shouldn't marry twice. She should just accept the shelter of her sons that they give her. The father is obviously an enemy if he dies in debt because he leaves that to his children. The wife is an enemy if she's beautiful because that's all the husband's thinking about when he's about to die. He's attached to his beautiful wife. Oh, she's gorgeous. She just kind of consumes what he's thinking about. And as we know, the mental condition at the time of death is very imperative, and it speaks to what the next life holds for us. And then the son is an enemy when he's a foolish rascal because he's just misstepping everywhere, knocking things over, and being a fool. So I liked that one. There's a lot there.
Yeah, one thing that about these moral principles in the Vedic paradigm is that all of them kind of are, from what I remember, they allude to Krishna consciousness. In some way or another, they kind of, for instance, like the father being in debt, he's an enemy because when the father's in debt, then the son, the family suffers from that activity. And when he dies in debt, then the son inherits that debt, and then the son is entangled, and we hear that one shouldn't be a father unless he can liberate his dependence. Same with the mother. One shouldn't be a mother unless she can liberate her dependence. So it's unnecessary for a woman to get married twice in Vedic culture, or mother to get married twice because she has sons, right? So the point of her getting married ultimately is for protection. So she has sons, so she doesn't need to get married twice. But even if she has a son and she gets married again, it should be considered that she's acting. It's for sense gratification. It's unnecessary. So she's an enemy. And same with the son. One who's a son, his duty is to also, at some point, liberate the parents. Become his dependents in their old age. The son takes on the responsibility to take care of them. Because we're indebted. We're so indebted to everything, ultimately Krishna, but to the animals. We're drinking this milk. We're taking vegetables, which in the Vedic culture would have been plowed by, the fields would have been tilled by and plowed by the bulls. And then the vegetables would have, and so the plants that the vegetables come from and the fruits come from. We're indebted to so many living entities. Of course, our parents, they maintained us throughout our childhood. We're indebted to the sages and the saints, the rishis, Srila Prabhupada, of course, Vyasadeva, the whole parampara, so many other personalities, Narada Muni, all these personalities we hear about. And we're indebted to the demigods. And then ultimately to Krishna. We're indebted to Krishna. So, because Krishna's Sarvaloka Maheshwara. And he's Suridam Sarvabhutanam. So he's the maintainer of all these aspects of, this reality that we actually depend on. Ultimately, we depend on him. Everything depends on him. So we're indebted to Krishna. And so that's the topmost duty of the living entity is to repay that debt. And the Vedas provide the means for that, yajna, sacrifice. We engage in sacrifice to Vishnu to repay that debt. And in the age of Kali, Kalir Dosho Nide Rajan, age of Kali is an ocean of faults. So the only applicable method is to chant Hare Krishna. And that's how we can repay our debt to Krishna. So we're chanting Hare Krishna, and we become free of these other debts. So we don't really have to, work very hard to satisfy family. Automatically, when we become Krishna conscious, we're doing the highest thing for them. Is that we're helping them advance in spiritual life, liberating them from their debts, all these different things. So the essence of morality is to become Krishna conscious. And then one is victorious. It's like neha bikrama nashosti pratyavayo navidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya chayate mahato vayat. That just a little advancement in Krishna consciousness will save one from the most dangerous type of fear. Therefore, he's victorious. In all circumstances. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, great. We have a comment from Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Can you hear?
No.
Hare Krishna.
Now we should be good.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. You can hear? Hare Krishna. Okay. On the topic of morality, we see that in the case of Maharaj Yudhisthira and the Pandavas, all the intelligent, the learned persons knew that ultimately they would win and they would be protected. Because ultimately the Lord likes to have those with the most moral principles in the highest position. They will be victorious. It may seem that the good guys lose, and those with immorality, they win. But actually, they don't live for very long. It may appear that way for a short time, but ultimately, the ones who are pious and the ones who are moral, they'll come out victorious, like Maharaj Yudhishthira. Thank you.
Okay. Jai. Yeah, just like that verse, there's one verse in the end. I don't know, basically, I won't spend so much time trying to find it, but Sanjay says, wherever there's Arjuna, wherever there's Krishna, there's victory and morality. Okay, so let's see. We can go on to text 39. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being moving or unmoving that can exist without me. Purport, everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor unmovable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. Nantosti mama divyanam. Oh, sorry. Translation. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Text 41. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Purport. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence. Whether it be in the spiritual or material world, anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. It's nice that Krishna is providing us with so many means in this chapter to remember him. So, it's no doubt that the material world is a bewildering place and a dazzling place, and one is captivated by the opulence that's present here. There's so many nice things like the sun and the moon. Krishna says, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo. That is the light of the sun and the moon. There's so many nice mountains and just various awe-inspiring things here. The night sky, so many stars in the sky. So many ferocious beasts, the lion and the shark. Krishna says of aquatics, he's the shark. So he's providing us with so many avenues to remember him. When we see these the natural phenomenon of this world, we can remember that there's the Supreme Person behind it. ultimately. And we can remember him in all circumstances. If you just remember these verses and what he's saying here. Krishna also says things that are a little bit interesting, like yesterday we heard him say, I am also the gambling of cheats. Prabhupada said in the purport, there are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. So in that sense, Krishna is supreme. God is supreme. It's not that he's just one-sided, but his greatness is not simply one-sided, it is all-sided, Prabhupada says. So he's the greatest of the cheaters. But Prabhupada says there are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. So Krishna is the greatest of the cheaters, but here in this world we find the lowest kinds of cheaters. Namely those who, in the guise of spiritual knowledge, mislead people away from Krishna. And these are the lowest kinds of cheaters. Because they're seemingly coming for the supreme benefit and welfare of everybody, seemingly presenting the topmost thing, but actually they're just taking people away the opposite direction, and they're fooling so many innocent people. So there's many different kinds of cheating processes. But the cheaters have to suffer for their actions. You can't out-cheat Krishna. Krishna is the greatest cheater. He cheats the cheaters. So they're trying to cheat him, and they're trying to cheat other living entities, but they get cheated because ultimately their activities lead them down farther and farther. So you can't out-cheat Krishna. He's the greatest cheater. But he doesn't cheat his devotees in that way. But there is, because everything Krishna does is good. So ultimately, his cheating is also good. Right? He punishes the rascals, Parityanaya sadhuna vinashaya chaduskritam. And then he protects the devotees, vinashaya chaduskritam. So his cheating is good ultimately. It's for the pleasure of his devotees. Yeah.
In regards to driving people further from Krishna, earlier we were talking about kind of a similar aspect of how to approach like friends and family, specifically people who knew you before you came to Krishna consciousness. And there's this like level of excitement that the devotee feels as he's putting these pieces together and making these connections and getting really excited about Krishna consciousness and all that it carries. And how in his approach to his friends and families, sometimes he can just bring such an intensity that they're not ready to hear. And although it's not really his intention, he ends up doing that very thing, kind of pushing people from the absolute truth, Krishna. So, is that what you're referring to, or is it a little bit different of a? Is that like cheating?
Yeah, typically, like like a neophyte preacher or something who was overzealous, and he scares somebody away. He may be sincerely trying to do the right thing, but I mean, I was more so talking about. I'm not sure what the position of such a person is, but I was talking about like more or less like Mayavadis who basically they kind of yeah. Maharaj has a question. I mean a comment. Okay, great.
He wanted to say that, Mars wanted to say that the example of cheating is Buddha, because he cheated all the atheists to worship him. So that was the comment that Mars said.
We were just hearing that actually in the Nectar of Devotion. That Buddha came and he cheated the atheists into accepting the Vedic principles, the Vedic ways of life. But yeah, I wish Rishi were here because he could talk about this extensively. That there's certain people who come and they're only interested in sense gratification, and they present some kind of whether that's Krishna consciousness or something, some kind of spiritual thing, and for the sake of acquiring name and fame, recognition, so stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not so sure, but yeah, Rishi would be a good person to ask about that. Sure. Okay, so it's 8:20, so maybe we can end there. Bhagavad Gita ki jai.